Problem number 3 says that we have a total of $6,300 invested and into two parts, right? Into two investments. One at 11% and one at 7%. So we're going to take this $6,300, divide it up, put some at 11% and invest the other at 7%. Now, here's what we want to know. And then we have some information. How much money was invested at each rate? So why don't we do this? We have two rates. Why don't we introduce two variables? But then, of course, we will need two equations. Now, let's get our two equations. So what I did here is I let x be the amount that we're going to put in at 11% and y the amount that we're going to invest at 7%. Now, let's get two equations. So we need two relationships here. First of all, I know this. The total, right up here, the total is $6,300. Now, this is the amount that we're putting into 11%. This is the amount we're putting into 7%. So if I add those together, I should get the total amount, which is $6,300. So I do know this, that x plus y is $6,300. And now we're going to make some interest at 11% and some at 7%. So if we invest this many dollars at 11%, then 11% of that amount will be how much interest we get. So we are going to write here as another equation 11% of times x. Does that make sense? 11% of the amount we invest, that's going to be the interest. And then add the interest at 7%, 7% of y. Okay, that's that total of $565 in interest. There's our system. But let's look at it carefully here. What is this? This is the total number of dollars, right? That's the total number of dollars. So I take the total investment, total number of dollars I put into the 11% account and add the total number of dollars I put into the 7% account. That gives me the total number of dollars. But what is this? Well, the $565 was the interest. Now, if I take X dollars and put it at 11%, then 11% of that investment will give me my interest. And then I'll get 7% interest on the amount I put into the other account. So this is interest plus interest gives me total interest. So there's our two equations. Now we need to solve this, and this looks like a good candidate for elimination by substitution, don't you think? Because we can solve either one of these equations without getting any fractions. So in problem number 2, the one I did just before this, I solved it for x. Why don't we solve this one for y? So I'm going to label these now. The top equation will be 1. The bottom equation will be 2. And the plan is to solve equation 1 for y. You could just as easily solve for x, but this time I'll solve it for y. So subtract x. We'll get y equals negative x plus 6,300. Now, take this negative x plus 6,300 and put it into y, not that equation for Pete's sakes, put it into y in the second equation. Let's see what we get. This will give us 0.11x plus 0.07 times y, but y is negative x plus 6,300, and that's all equal to 565. So let's multiply through here. So we'll get 0.11x minus 0.07x, and then when I make this multiplication, 0.07 times 6,300, I got 441, and that's equal to 565. This is like 11 minus 7 is 0.04x plus 441 equals 565. Let's subtract that 441. So we'll get 0.04x equals, now we can do this, subtract 441, 5 minus 1 is a 4, 6 minus 4 is a 2, 5 minus 4 is a 1. And if we divide by 0.04, we'll get x equals, all right, I'm doing this, 124 divided by 0.04, I got x equal to 3,100. There's x. So I've got x, but what was x? Follow it all the way back. X is the amount that we invest at 11%. I still need the amount at 7%. Okay, now that's right down here, right? That's why we circled it, so I don't lose it. So back over here, take this 3,100. I'll draw another line here. We'll have lines all over. Take that 3,100 and put it right back there. So doing that is going to give us that y is equal to negative, right? Negative 3,100 plus 6,300. So we make that subtraction there, and I got 3,200. So that's y. So let's summarize. We have two investments, one at 11%, one at 7%. And how much did we put in each? The 11%, let's go back. The 11% right up here, that was our x value. So where's our x? What did we get for x? Way back over here. We got 3,100. So we put 3,100 into the 11%. And then, what is the 7%? Well, the 7%, follow it up here. The 7%, that was our y. But y, we got right down here, is 3,200. Sure enough, you add those together, we get 6,300. I think we have it.